10 shrubs that bloom at different times of year. Do you sometimes stand in your garden in January or February, look around and think, well, nothing going on here? Grey, bare, lifeless. Many believe that shrubs are only interesting for a short time in spring or summer, and the rest of the year they are simply green background. But that's not true. There are shrubs that bloom in almost every season, whether in the cold of winter, in the first weeks of spring, in the height of summer, or even in fall. And the best part, these flowering shrubs are not only beautiful, they're also tough, robust, and easy to care for. Today we'll take a look at 10 shrubs that don't bloom all at the same time, but spread their flowers across the year. That way your garden is never without highlights. Pieris japonica, the early bloomer with pearl chains. It's still cold, the days are short, and yet, suddenly there are little bells hanging in clusters on your shrub, almost like tiny pearl necklaces. That's Pieris japonica, also known as lily of the valley shrub or Japanese Andromeda. This plant is a real gem, and not just when it's flowering. First, the buds. They appear in late autumn and hang through the entire winter like decorative jewelry. Then, from March to May, the real show begins. The buds open, and countless small white or pink flowers dangle in clusters. They look delicate, almost fragile, but the plant itself is hardy and reliable. Another special feature, the new shoots. When the young leaves sprout, they often glow in bright red or bronze, before later turning lush green. This gives Pieris ornamental value almost year-round. How big does it get? Usually between 1 and 3 meters depending on the variety. It's perfect as a solitary shrub, in groups, or even in larger pots. Its favorite place, half shady, with soil that's slightly acidic and not too dry. If you know rhododendrons or azaleas, you'll know what it likes, because they're related. Care? Simple. A little mulch, occasional watering in dry spells, and that's all it needs. You don't have to prune, though you can lightly shape it if you like. Pieris japonica isn't the loud, flashy type. It's more of a quiet beauty, one you discover when you take a closer look. But once you do, you'll fall in love with its subtle elegance. Potentilla fruticosa, the blooming marathon runner. If you had to choose one shrub that almost never stops blooming, Potentilla fruticosa, the shrubby cinquefoil, would be at the top of the list. While most shrubs bloom for a few weeks and then take a long break, Potentilla just keeps going. From May until October, sometimes even longer, it produces one flower after another. The flowers themselves are simple but cheerful. Small, 5-petaled blossoms in yellow, white, orange, or pink, depending on the variety. Individually, they may not be spectacular, but together, and over such a long time, they are unbeatable. Size-wise, Potentilla stays modest, usually between 50 centimeters and 1.5 meters. Perfect for low hedges, borders, or as ground-covering shrubs. The best part, it's almost indestructible. It tolerates sun, poor soils, wind, even drought once it's established. It hardly needs care, just a little pruning every few years to keep it compact. For pollinators, it's like a buffet. Bees and hoverflies are constantly visiting, especially since flowers are available for such a long period. So if you want a shrub that won't let you down, one that doesn't need constant attention, then Potentilla is your friend. A real set-it-and-forget-it plant. Weigela, the abundant bloomer. Some shrubs impress with endurance, others with volume. Weigela belongs to the second group. When it blooms in May and June, it's like a firework display. The entire shrub is covered with countless trumpet-shaped flowers in pink, red, or white, sometimes so dense that you can hardly see the leaves underneath. And that's not all. Many varieties bloom a second time in late summer, though not as heavily, but still noticeably. Weigela grows as a medium to large shrub. 2 to 3 meters is normal. It needs space, but in return, it delivers real impact. Its requirements: sun to partial shade, average soil, and a bit of pruning now and then. Otherwise, it is robust, hardy, and long-lived. It's also very versatile. As a solitary shrub in mixed hedges, or even as a backdrop for perennials. And with its abundance of flowers, it attracts bees, bumblebees, and butterflies. Weigela is one of those shrubs that can look a little ordinary when not in bloom, but once it flowers, it becomes the star of the garden. Caryopteris, the blue latecomer. Late summer is often a tricky time. Many shrubs have already finished blooming, the big spring and summer fireworks are over, and yet the garden still needs color. That's where Caryopteris, also known as bluebeard or blue spirea, comes in. From August into October, it covers itself in delicate clusters of small blue flowers, a blue that's fresh, clear, and immediately eye-catching. Even more important, at this time, when many other food sources are gone, Caryopteris is a magnet for bees, bumblebees, and especially butterflies. Stand next to one on a sunny day, and you'll hear buzzing everywhere. In terms of size, it stays modest, around 80 to 120 centimeters, making it perfect for the front to middle of a border. It likes sun, warmth, and well-drained soil. It doesn't tolerate waterlogging, but otherwise is uncomplicated. In very cold winters, it may freeze back a little, but it usually sprouts again reliably. Pruning? Yes, in spring, cut it back strongly, almost to the ground. That keeps it young and ensures it flowers abundantly. Caryopteris may not be the best-known shrub, but it fills a gap perfectly. It extends the flowering season well into fall, making sure your garden doesn't suddenly go dull. Deutzia, the blooming fountain. When Deutzia blooms in May and June, it looks like someone poured white or pink blossom foam over it. The shrubs are so full of flowers that the branches often bend under the weight. The individual flowers are small, but in large clusters they create a real spectacle. Depending on the variety, they shine in pure white, delicate pink, or even bicolored. Deutzia isn't only about flowers, though. Its growth is also attractive, slightly arching, loose, airy. It often reaches 1 to 2 meters in height, making it ideal for borders, hedges, or as a single specimen. Requirements: quite undemanding. Sun to partial shade, average soil, and it's happy. A light pruning after flowering keeps it in shape and encourages more blossoms. Deutzia is one of those shrubs that doesn't need to be the main star, but still plays a crucial role. It fills the gap between spring and summer flowers and provides an impressive, but not fussy, floral display. Snowball viburnum, the cloud maker. Imagine standing in your garden in May and seeing huge white balls floating in front of you. That's the snowball viburnum, Viburnum opulus, and its many cultivated forms. When it blooms, it lives up to its name. Large, spherical flower clusters, first greenish-white, then bright white, sometimes turning slightly pink as they age. A blooming spectacle that never fails to impress. As a shrub, it makes a real statement. Alone, it becomes a centerpiece in any garden. In a flowering hedge, it blends in beautifully. At 2 to 4 meters tall, it's not easy to overlook. Its requirements: sun to partial shade, moist and nutrient-rich soil. The more sun, the more flowers. Care is simple. Plant it, maybe prune after flowering if you want to control its shape and otherwise just enjoy. After flowering, bright red berries appear. Attractive to look at, though raw, they're slightly poisonous to humans. For birds, however, they're a treat. And in autumn, the leaves turn a striking red, meaning this shrub offers not just a few weeks of beauty, but a 3-season package. Serviceberry, the delicate all-rounder. April, everything is starting to bloom. Magnolias, cherry blossoms, tulips, and right among them the serviceberry, Amelanchier. It looks delicate, almost ethereal. Slender branches covered in clouds of small white flowers, like fine brush strokes on a spring canvas. But don't let its delicate look fool you. The serviceberry is tough, hardy, and adaptable. First come the flowers, then the fruits. Small dark blue berries, reminiscent of blueberries, sweet and aromatic, edible raw or in jams. Birds love them, so if you want some for yourself, you need to be quick. And then autumn arrives. The leaves glow in fiery orange, red, and yellow. A true 3-season shrub. Size varies by species, from 1.5 to 6 meters. There's a serviceberry for almost any garden. whether as a small ornamental shrub, fruiting shrub, or even a small tree. It doesn't ask for much: sun to partial shade, soil that's not too dry, and otherwise it largely takes care of itself. The serviceberry is perfect if you want something that combines beauty and utility: flowers, fruit, and autumn color. Ceanothus, the blue wonder. When people think of flowering shrubs, they usually picture white, yellow, pink, maybe red. But blue, that's rare. And that's why Ceanothus, also called California lilac, is such a sensation. In June, it bursts into bloom, covering itself in thousands of tiny flowers that together form a sea of the most beautiful sky blue. It's almost surreal, as if someone scattered bits of the summer sky across your garden. The catch: Ceanothus isn't fully hardy. Some varieties manage in mild regions. Others need winter protection, or do best planted against a house wall. That makes it more of a special feature than a basic garden shrub. But what a feature! It offers a color that almost no other shrub can provide. Care? Moderate. Loves sun, hates waterlogging. Plant it in a sunny, well-drained spot, and it will reward you with a dazzling show. It doesn't grow too tall, usually 1 to 2 meters, but it's dense and compact. A true eye-catcher. So if you want something out of the ordinary, something to surprise visitors, Ceanothus is the shrub for you. A little demanding, yes, but the payoff is a breathtaking display. Butterfly bush, the butterfly magnet. If you want to bring life into your garden, not just color, but wings that flutter, you need a butterfly bush, Buddleja davidi. From July to September, when many shrubs are already fading, it puts on a breathtaking show. Long panicles packed with hundreds of tiny flowers in shades of purple, pink, white, or even yellow, depending on the variety. The scent? Irresistible, not just for us, but especially for butterflies. Within minutes, your bush will be buzzing with wings of all colors. It's easy to care for, loves full sun and well-drained soil. Pruning in early spring is essential. Cut it back hard, almost to the ground, and it will shoot back vigorously, rewarding you with more flowers than ever. Height? 2 to 3 meters, though dwarf varieties exist for smaller gardens and even pots. Some call it invasive, since it self-seeds readily. But with regular deadheading, you can control it. And honestly, the sight of a bush covered in butterflies is worth the small effort. This shrub isn't subtle. It's bold, fragrant, and alive. Caria, the cheerful sunburst. When everything else in early spring is still waking up, Caria japonica, also called Japanese rose, is already there, shining bright. Its golden yellow pom-pom-like flowers appear from April to May, sometimes with a second round later in the season. Against its fresh green bamboo-like stems, the effect is charming, almost playful. Caria doesn't need much. Partial shade to sun, average soil, and it will grow happily. It forms loose thickets of up to 2 meters high, spreading gradually via runners. It's perfect for natural, slightly wild gardens, where it can form glowing yellow accents under trees or along fences. Pruning, after flowering, cut out old shoots at the base. That keeps it young and encourages new growth. Caria is the cheerful type, never overpowering but always uplifting. A splash of yellow happiness at a time when you need it most. Conclusion: a year-round garden. And that was part 2 of our series on shrubs that bring beauty, color, and structure almost all year long. From spring charmers to summer powerhouses, late bloomers, berry carriers, and autumn color artists, you now have another set of 10 reliable companions for your garden. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, be sure to check it out for the first 10 shrub heroes. Together, parts 1 and 2 give you 20 options to keep your garden blooming, buzzing, and lively from early in the year until late autumn. And don't forget, your garden deserves flowers, structure, and life throughout the whole year.